Greetings, I am Charlotte Kriska, and over the course of several videos, you will be watching me toil away creating an outfit for the opening day of Avengers Campus on June 4th. Will I finish in time? Will I have everything that I wanted to include in the outfit on the actual final outcome? Will I be able to truly capture the essence that is Avengers Campus without having ever stepped foot in Avengers Campus? Stay tuned and find out for what I've been calling my Ant Boot project. Thanks, cats. So this video will cover all the designing and planning aspects of the project. With only a month to make everything, I need to make sure that everything is clear and concise at the beginning so that I don't hit any creative walls later on down the line in the project, because time is a concern right now. So what will I actually be making? Well, let me tell you a story all about how I once worked for Disney. That's right, I was an attractions cast member at Flix Fun Fair. So naturally that land is near and dear to my heart. So when the announcement that it was getting the boot for Avengers Campus came around, I wasn't terribly surprised since there were rumors that this was going to happen anyway, but a little sad. And it's hard because obviously I love Bugs Land, but I also really love Marvel. So this outfit, the purpose of it is to capture both Bugs Land and Avengers Campus. That led me to designing a transforming dress. In one formation, it represents all things Bugs Land and the departed Tower of Terror. And in the second formation, it hopefully covers many of the things that Avengers Campus has to offer. Again, I will be going off of a lot of promotional imaging and what we know is coming to the land based on what Disney has already announced to us. These days, most of my costumes have historical fashion elements to them, and this one did not escape that. So the overall aesthetic is very 1950s. The silhouette is, but the bodice has 1780s Robe inspiration behind it, just because of how I want the transformation and the design to look. So this is kind of the skirt design, and I made little templates of the skirt. So this is one, and it's double-sided because on one side it'll have one image for Bugs Land, and on the back side it'll have an image for Avengers Campus. So here I am pulling out a bunch of scrap fabric that I keep around just for projects like this. I'll be making a tiny little mock-up of my skirt, so I'm using the colors that I plan to use, which are red, white, and black. You'll see there's the purple. I didn't use purple, but all the other ones are accurate. And now I'm gonna iron it all out because it's been shoved into bags for who knows how long. And then we'll get to cutting out all the pieces with the templates I just made.
And what I did with the red is what I proceeded to do with the black. And I will also do that with the white fabric. And I'll just do that over and over again until I have all my pieces cut out. Okay, so now I have all my test pieces cut out. Let's see if I can try to explain this. So this is one panel. This is the Avengers Campus side. This is the Bugs Land side. So this will be sewn together like this. So essentially this is just one panel of the skirt. And then this will be the next panel. It's white on both sides. But so this will be the Avengers Campus side. So it'll kind of look like these two are sewn together, but it won't be, because it'll need to flip. How it will flip will be, they'll be attached up here, top, and then it'll flip like this. What I need to figure out right now is that when it turns like that, obviously there'll be a gap. There needs to be fabric in between. And that is the part I need to figure out. I think I'm going to need like half the width of one panel. So make a pattern for one half. And when it goes under, this side will be red over here. And then when it flips, it will be black. Then obviously the white panels will be white. I think that's how I'm going to do it. We'll see what happens. That's why we're doing a tiny test. The tiny test will tell all. And tell me how crazy I am. But yeah, so I'm going to first make a pattern that's literally just this cut in half, lengthwise. Had a breakthrough of sorts. These are the small panels that I cut that are half the size of like the main panels, and that's basically the main part of the skirt. So it'll be one waistband that connects all this just up top. But there'll be a second waistband that will attach to the main panels, which, as demonstrated with the white, would go like that, and it'll be attached to like the outer corner up here, and then when you shift it, it'll flip like that. So you'll never actually really see the main skirt, you'll just see the outside panels flipping. So here I got lazy and didn't cut this piece in half, but it's essentially the same thing. So this is going to be the main skirt part, pins to the panel part right down the center where the panel would go anyway had I split the fabric in half. And I'm going to just stitch that together. Time to give a little press to my mini mock-up. I'm ironing down the inside seams as well as the outside seams to make sure things lay nice and flat and that the main skirt is nice and smooth so that it can kind of replicate the transformation. The waistband is the next thing to be attached. This is the main waistband attached to the main skirt, so I'm just using a really tiny running stitch to attach it only to the half panels, so not the main flappy flaps. And here I'm attaching the second waistband to said flappy flaps, and I'm only sewing the little corner edge of the panel to the waistband.
Okay, so here's my little skirt mock-up. I don't actually have anything that could wear the skirt mock-up. Everything's either too small or too big and doesn't quite work, so just imagine this on a small thing. But it does its job. So we have the two waistbands. These are all attached to the main skirt, the panels, and essentially, let's see, on the Bugs Land side right now, and then you shift this and flip. It would be easier when you spin. So the reason why you spin when you do this is so that these panels, the force of the spin will flip it all the way over, but because it's like laying flat and it's not on anything, it's more of a struggle. But you can see, so now it's on like the Avengers sign because there's a few black panels, just a few little tweaky things, but overall I like the shape and the design. So here we go. I've also started sketching out all my little patterns that I use for my mock-up, how I want each panel to go. So this will be one panel. This is the Avengers Campus side. This is the Bugs Land side. So here is my sketched out design of my Bugs Land / Tower of Terror side of the skirt. That's the front, obviously. And I tried to incorporate all the rides, all the attractions, as well as some of my favorite things like the churro cart. And here is the Avengers Campus side of the skirt.
And it's interesting between the two. The other one, it was hard to find enough things to put on here because Bugs Land is small, whereas Marvel is kind of a whole universe. So trying to find things to put on here was not a challenge. It was just what's going to be in the land. And here is the bodice design. So essentially, this is in its basic form what it's going to look like. It's going to have one of those clovers, and then this is the Quinjet.
I make a lot of my own patterns for my outfits, so I like to sketch out what each pattern piece is supposed to look like, as well as have the accurate measurements pieces are supposed to be. As you can see, I've already sketched out the skirt for this project, and I am in the process of sketching out the bodice and adding all the different measurements to it. I find this to be really helpful to kind of imagine how many pattern pieces I need, as well as have all the measurements laid out already for me, and I don't have to figure that out at another time.
So here's the part I'm not sure about. Because the bodice is based on a 1780s gown, you kind of need the 1780s understructure to give it the proper shape, and the shape why I picked that particular bodice. So I might be making some stays. Now, these stays will be 1780s based, but they'll be heavily altered and by no means historically accurate. And they don't have to be.
Still unsure if I'll have time to make stays, but here we go, sketching out all the plans, and we'll see what happens. I'll have it all planned out if I end up having the time, and if not, well, I'll think of something else.
So now it's time to make some patterns.
So for all of these, the bodice and the stays pattern, I just kind of freely sketched those out. I was able to do that because I have been studying those for a while. Also, a lot of the resources that I use are just freely available online. So I will provide all those resources down below of what I've used, what I looked at, what I even just glanced at, perhaps. There's a lot of blogs out there from other costumers, as well as extant garments that I would look at and reference, as well as free online books. There's a lot on the internet if you know where to look and know where to reliably source things if you're going for full historical accuracy, because this isn't full historical accuracy. I don't have to be as strict upon my information, but I did try to be historically inspired as much as I could.
I make my patterns out of any paper I can get my hands on. This is from a box that was shipped to us. I've been known to use wrapping paper and paper bags from the grocery store. Anything can be used for patterns. Now to sketch out all the pattern pieces. And cut out all the pattern pieces.
Now that I have all the patterns figured out, it is time to figure out what materials I need. So I compiled a list, a very, very long list of everything that I need. Hopefully a lot of these things I already have. Yeah, that's the thing with these kind of projects. I've done a few of these now, and they take a... Hey. Excuse me. That's... Thanks, buddy. You help well. I'm gonna go for the other one. Okay. Okay, thank you. But that's the thing with these kind of projects, is that they take a lot of materials, but they also can use up a lot of random materials that you happen to have left over from other projects. So I enjoy doing these for that reason. And with that, I have now done all the prep work that I need to do. I have my tiny patterns along with the tiny mock-up, as well as all the sketches of each panel for the skirt. I have measurements as well as placement on the fabric. I have patterns, lots of them. I have 2 very extensive long pieces of paper with all the materials that I will need to search for. So, with that, concludes this designing and planning video. Tune in for the next one where I'll be making the skirt, and it shall be interesting, I can tell you that. Right, Tic-Tac? She agrees. Bye. Are you helping? Are you doing a good job of flattening that paper? Look at you go. Look at you go. Look at you sit on it. Okay, bye.